Welcome everyone. Today I'm really excited to talk about Star Ocean. Star Ocean, the second story R, is an unexpected and welcome release, and today I'm going to tell you why this is a must play. We will go into what makes the game great, but also dive into what the remake does to bring this classic into the modern era. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. In the massive landscape of JRPGs, Star Ocean's second story, in my opinion, always stood out as a shining gem that stood the test of time. This 1998 PlayStation classic is a sequel to the original Star Ocean, and it masterfully combines an epic spacefaring narrative with intricate character development and innovative gameplay mechanics that were so innovative for its time that they hold up incredibly well to this day. At its core, Star Ocean's second story boasts a captivating narrative that unfolds in a universe teeming with political intrigue, mystical elements, and the age-old struggle between good and evil. Players are presented with a choice at the beginning of the game, allowing them to experience the story from the perspective of either Claude, a young protagonist from Earth, or Raina Lamford, a healer with ties to the mysterious planet Expel, which you will spend the duration of the game learning much more about. This branching narrative adds an extra layer of replayability, as players can explore different facets of the expansive storyline, and with New Game Plus added to the second story R re-release, it makes new playthroughs that much more incredible. The game's writing is filled with a sense of greatness and willingness to tackle complex themes. The dialogue is rich and varied, with each character possessing a distinct voice and personality. The emotional weight of the narrative is heightened by the game's impressive setting, and Second Story R really manages to take those things up a notch. It was technological marvel for its time, and it really feels right at home here in 2023, especially with the upgrades to this new release. One of the original game's standout features is its robust character development system. As players travel the galaxy recruiting a diverse cast of characters, each party member undergoes a unique personal quest that delves into their backstories and motivations. This reminded me a ton of the Trails of Third in the way it lays out the backstory of each character and urges players to fully invest in the game's story and characters. These quests are not just mere side quests, they profoundly impact the characters' abilities, unlocking new skills and talents that enhance their combat prowess. The depth of character relationships is further emphasized by the game's private action system. Players can trigger private scenes between party members, offering a glimpse into their lives outside of the main quest. These interactions not only contribute to the overall narrative and getting to know each character, but they also influence the game's multiple endings, and it adds an extra layer of player agency. Back when it released, Star Ocean Second Story originally stood out for its innovative real-time combat system. It feels very much like a Tales game in my opinion, and therefore a departure from the turn-based norm of many RPGs of its time. Players control one character while the AI handles the others. The majority of the encounters felt quite easy to me at first, especially for seasoned players, but the difficulty picks up as you progress further into the game. The ability to switch between characters on the fly and customize their behaviors allows for strategic depth and keeps combat encounters consistently exciting. The game also introduces a crafting system that lets players create their own items, weapons, and accessories. I love the added layer of experimentation and customization. Gives you the freedom to kind of tailor your party to your preferred playstyle, which I'm always a huge fan of in JRPGs. So let's dive into what the remake brings, and right off the bat, when you load up the game, the visuals stand out. It definitely seems to use that HD 2D type of art style we all know and love, but in a very different way. See, Octopath, for example, very much feels like a different experience from Star Ocean. It has a fixed camera angle and feels like a much more guided experience, whereas Star Ocean allows free use of the camera, and while roaming the overworld, it really is cool to see the pixel art move in such an open space like that. I'm a huge fan of what Second Story R did here. There were moments where I was completely taken back by the lighting effects, the particle effects, the different backdrops and settings, and the various ways the game handles the larger-than-life moments you encounter throughout. It really is breathtaking, and I can honestly come up with a ton of games I would love to see get this treatment. Outside of the art style, there are some key gameplay differences in this release. The new release removes random encounters, which is huge for me, and it allows you to see and encounter enemies in the overworld, which I am much more fond of personally. There's a new break mechanic, which is really cool. Basically, enemies have a shield gauge. When broken, they will go into a weakened state. Building off of that, they've added a new gameplay mechanic that with precise timing, you can perform a perfect dodge that will prevent you from taking damage and will also deal a lot of damage to your opponents. It also greatly increases shield damage for triggering that new break mechanic. It's really quite clever how they interweaved these new gameplay mechanics into the old gameplay systems. I'm really enjoying it. One huge thing for me also was that I remember back when I first played this game in the original release, there was a huge issue that I had with the magic system, and they really fixed my gripe here entirely. In the original game, casting magic took a while and would basically pause the game, which made casters pretty weak compared to the melee counterparts. In this version, weaker spells no longer pause the game, and stronger spells can be entirely skipped altogether. There are many more quality of life fixes in this release that make it an overall better experience from start to finish, but those were definitely my favorites that stood out to me the most. Honestly though, I can't talk about a Star Ocean game without raving about its soundtrack. Beautifully composed soundtrack. It complements the game's emotional beats and enhances the overall experience in a multitude of ways. With Second Story R, I found myself up late into the night playing this game, and some of the music here just had me completely absorbed into this world. With an incredibly large selection of classic JRPGs to choose from, Star Ocean Second Story stands tall as a testament to the creativity and ambition of its developers. Its rich narrative, well-developed characters, innovative gameplay, and timeless aesthetic make it a game that transcends the boundary of time. In my opinion, I definitely wasn't expecting a remake of Star Ocean Second Story R, but I'm extremely happy they made one. It remains one of my favorite and honestly most memorable JRPG experiences from when I was younger, and experiencing it today with all its improvements, I'm loving every minute of it. That's it for my review of Star Ocean Second Story R. Let me know in the comments below if you're playing it, what you think about it. Are you enjoying it? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? If you aren't playing it, definitely give this one a shot. And until next time, I'm out.